Welcome back to another episode of Kiah's Take. Today we're going to talk about two women who are talking about the dating market. One woman who lives in LA, which I'm really curious to hear because I too live in LA, and then another woman who's talking about the dating life in Atlanta. So let's get into it.
Okay, and here's a prime example as to why I don't date LA guys and why European men are 200 times better than American men. Let me just paint the scene for you. I just got back from a 3-week Europe trip and I met a couple guys there. One guy literally drove 5 hours to bring me tiramisu. 5 hours to bring me tiramisu, and we had never even met before. We had just been talking online. That's one example. I get home, I get back on Hinge. I live in LA. And as you know, dating in LA is one of the worst places in the world. There's a few reasons for it. One, because it's the entertainment capital of the world. People don't move to LA to settle down and have kids. They somebody and yada yada. And it is a hustle and a grind. And most guys cannot multitask. If their life is not in order, they're not ready for a relationship. And on top of that, there are way more beautiful women in this city that they don't have to commit. It's called Peter Pan syndrome. These guys want to stay young. They want to get whatever they want because they can and without having to commit. Okay? So I have been living in LA for a really long time. I've been single. I just don't really connect with the men here. Not to say that all men are bad here, but just the ones that I've gone on dates with, it just wasn't a partnership type of vibe. And I get back on Hinge and I connect with a guy today. He literally was like, "You seem like you're such a catch right off the bat. Why are you single?" And I made a joke back being like, haha, your guess is as good as mine about like me being single or whatever. And then he immediately goes, "Okay, big head." And I was like, "Okay, soon." That's quick. And so I made a joke back being like, "Physically or mentally?" And then he was like, "Oh, I want to meet you." And I was like, "Okay, well, we can make that happen." He was like, "Where do you live?" And I was like, "WeHo." And then he was like, "Well, let's talk on Instagram because conversations can get dry on here." And I don't love giving a guy my Instagram right off the bat. I don't want to see your Instagram. I don't want you to see my Instagram. I think it's a really good way to like not have preconceived notions about someone and to just like get to know someone by talking to them. And so I was like, ugh, I was like, Instagram. And he was like, "Well, you're only giving me one word answers." And I was like, first of all,
So far, she has a lot going on. I'm wondering, why did she make such a broad statement in the beginning and said all men in LA are pretty much like trash and compared them to white European men? But then later says, well, it's just the men that I'm dating. So I see that she's making like incorrect or inconsistent statements. I don't necessarily agree with dating apps. I think you should get out there and meet the person that you're looking for in person, in traffic and grocery stores organically, is my point. I don't like that he mentioned to move over to Instagram, especially if he said that, excuse me, especially if he made the comment talking about she's giving one word answers. To me, if he already told you that you're giving one word answers, I wouldn't even have given him my Instagram, let alone where I live. People are crazy out here. So yeah, those are my initial thoughts.
we just started talking 5 seconds ago, Miss Attitude. So relax. And I was like, "I don't really love messaging on this app." He's like, "Well, I don't see you sending me a voice note." He's like, "I don't see you initiating a conversation." I was like, "Okay, what is wrong with you, actually?" I'm like, "Do you hate women? What are you so disgruntled about? Why are you so insecure?" Like, we literally just started this conversation. You asked me a question and I was answering. And it's like, this is my problem with LA guys is that they want you to give them the princess treatment. They want you to be like, oh, okay, so tell me about your life, and let me take you to lunch, and let me buy you a drink, and let me do all of the work, and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, you asked me two questions and I answered them. That is not me not continuing in conversation. It's been 5 seconds. I understand if it had been 5 days and I was giving you one word responses. It's been 5 seconds. Relax. So then earlier I had sent my Instagram handle after I was just kind of like, ugh, Instagram. So immediately he was like, after he said, oh, you could initiate conversation. And then he goes, oh, you have too many followers for me. And I was like, and you have too much of an attitude for me. He was like, why? Because I told you need to initiate conversation. And I immediately unmatched. And I'm just like, if you're coming with that type of energy right off the bat and you think that that's attractive, first of all, you're coming at me sideways for answering your questions. And then second, you're coming at me because I have too many followers. Get a life. Get a life. And the problem is that this is the majority of LA guys here. They are women. They are women. They are girls. They want this princess treatment. And when you are someone who has lived and traveled all around the world, gives yourselves the nicest things, really has a great life.
You know, it's interesting that she's already leading with the things that she's done, the things that she has. It's already coming off a little bit masculine. And that's why I wonder if the results that she's getting from the men on a dating market is a reflection of her. If she's coming off really masculine, more than likely she's going to get the type of men that she's attracting. I personally, along with a few of my friends, have never experienced the type of things that she has. In my opinion, it sounds like she's leading more with the things that she's talking about. I've been here, I've done that, I have this, and that is going to be like a repellent to an alpha guy.
And can do all of the things that a man can do, but you do it for yourself.
What did I just say? Exactly. What do he need you for if you're already doing all these things to begin with? She definitely needs to look at herself in the mirror first and then think about, okay, what am I attracting? Why am I attracting these type of men?
Why would I ever settle for anything less? People are like, why are you single? This is why. This is why. Because men do not know how to show up as men anymore, especially in Los Angeles. So I gotta outsource. There's a supply and demand issue. I gotta outsource. I gotta go to Europe. I have to physically go to Europe to find a man.
It's interesting that she didn't say go to a different state, go to a different city. New York men are completely different than LA men. Southern men are different than New York men. It's millions of men out here in the States. If you can't find a man in the States and the millions and millions of men that are out here, then I have to wonder if there's something out there that you putting out that the men are attracting. Yeah.
Dating in 2026.
So I've been hearing a lot of conversation about this woo lady, something like that. I'm not sure, TikTok. But I wanted to discuss that a little bit because first and foremost, I don't want you guys to be misled and I don't want you guys to be misguided, okay? And of course, that's all social media is. It's all about misguiding you guys, misleading you guys, and telling you guys false information, all right? Now, I'm going to say this. Yes, Miami is a beautiful place. And Miami have a lot of people here that have a lot of money, okay? But the people that really have legit money are business people here in Miami, okay? Those are real business people who have real businesses and who their businesses make tons of money, all right? Yes, we have that in Miami, okay? And then we have our little thug scammers, okay, who hang out at strip joints and things like that. They, drug dealers, whatever they are, okay? You have those, all right? Now, from my understanding, this lady has been telling you girlies that come to Miami and you go get you a Dior bag and you're going to get this and you're going to get that. Now, let me say this, all right? Miami is a very sophisticated place, okay? And there are very sophisticated men with money, all right? These men, all right, the men that I'm speaking of, the quality men, are not interested in ghetto women, all right? Let me say that, all right? They're not interested in women who have long hair, feather lashes, and, baby hairs on their foreheads, all right? The only men that are going to entertain you here in Miami and you look like that are little thugs and little scammers, all right? But nevertheless, okay, regardless of who they may be, I need you girlies to understand. Coming here to Miami thinking that a man is just going to drop $2,500 on you, $3,000 on you, buying you a Gucci bag, a Dior bag, or whatever Hermes bag, whatever bag you're thinking of, all right? It doesn't work like that, little girls. It doesn't.
She's everything she's saying right now is 100%. I have heard about this lady on TikTok, Woo Lady, who's giving out information and teaching women how to be, you know, prostitutes, and just teaching them how to live a lifestyle that I personally wouldn't support. And so, with that information, these women are flying out to Miami, assuming that they're going to get the VIP treatment, but not understanding the repercussions that come with that, not understanding the safety issues that come with that, not understanding that if they're buying you something, you are definitely doing something for that. You're not getting that stuff for free. They're not tricking on you for free. They're not going to willingly give you Chanel bags and let you sit in the passenger seat of their Lambo for free. All of that comes at a cost.
Work like that, all right? If a man buy you anything, you make sure you have your condoms inside your bags, okay? Because ain't no man go buy you anything for free, okay? So anybody that's telling you all you need to do is travel to Miami and you gonna be treated like a 5-star, okay? If that man is treating you like a 5-star, you better make sure that you understand that he is looking for a good time in the bed with you, all right?
She is accurate 1000%. And I hope this really resonates with the younger generation and understand that not everything that glitters is gold. So I'd love to know your comments I'd love to know your feedback and your comments in the comment section. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know if you guys got any questions, because I'm curious to know, what's your experience like in the dating market? What's your experience like if you've been to Miami? Drop it in the comments below. Hit that follow button. Bye.